What is dyslexia? That's such a huge question.
I guess it depends on who you ask, right?
Oh boy, it's a journey.
It's an ability where you can do amazing things, but the price of amazing things is reading.
Your brain is wired to something else instead of reading and writing.
Something that challenges you in reading in school, but something that can help you with your creativeness.
Dyslexia doesn't go away. Dyslexia is something you're born with and something you die with.
It's a reading disability that some kids have and a lot of celebrities have it.
An unexpected difficulty in learning how to read, write, and spell.
For myself, I think about my own experience of not being able to decode and encode, having the ability to understand sounds and how sounds make words.
I always thought that something was wrong with me for a very long time. And when I was told I had dyslexia, I was like, okay, so they have a name for it.
It's neurologically based, which means it's brain-based, and it's biological, meaning that it's hereditary.
A student with dyslexia has more of a balanced brain and lesser connections or circuitry perhaps going between the lobes for communication.
Fundamental disconnect in the brain's wiring that prevents the synchronicity between the language and the visual parts of the brain. And this disconnect is what creates this sort of circuitous route for us to take visual stimulation and put it into the section of the brain that allows us to interpret letters into words. But I also attribute that disconnect to being what is responsible for the attributes that are associated with dyslexia.
I just thought I was stupid or dumb or just was not bright, or not bright, but not smart.
Imagine schools across the world filled with genius and gifted children, and yet the schools are blind to them.
For me, it was never the words moving. My brain's just trying to move too quick, and I'm trying to figure out the sentence before I'm trying to figure out the word.
We're talking about a kiddo who is at least average or above average intelligence and is very articulate and has high vocabulary, and yet they struggle to learn to read, write, and spell.
When I read the letters, they just glitch on me. I don't know, I see sometimes I'll just stop and then there's the word pops out 3D.
It's a learning difference that 1 in 5 people have. It's genetic.
I'm not really good at writing or reading. I'm kind of a little bit bad at it. Sometimes I need help. Because sometimes I don't know what to say. Or how to spell everything.
It was, he's a boy, boys are like that, he'll catch up by 3rd grade, we'll just wait and see. He's not trying that hard, he just doesn't care that much. It was always very focused on who he is as a person and not how he was doing.
I have dyslexia, and it takes me a little longer to read a book. So if you could bear with me when I'm reading a book.
Imagine Harry Potter if he never went to Hogwarts. Imagine what Harry Potter would think of himself and his gifts. And what is dyslexia? It's the ability to see and perceive the world in the way that muggles cannot.
Everyone's different. There's different ways of learning. And if we should just be seeing it that way instead of at levels,
Dyslexia is frustrating. Dyslexia is low self-confidence sometimes. But a lot of dyslexia is exciting, the artistic ability, the creativeness of all of these children and individuals.
My mom was telling me you shouldn't be scared of having dyslexia. It's fun. Try doing something with your dyslexia. So that's when I started to do all my artwork.
I totally reject the idea that dyslexia is a disability. I think that's a lot like saying people who are left-handed are disabled. If you just gave them left-handed scissors, they would be fine.
One thing it taught me is to always try and stick to it in any aspect, because eventually you'll find the problem and be able to solve it.
The dyslexics like myself and others that I know are really champions. They're survivors. For getting past these obstacles of that disillusionment of failure and going for things that maybe they didn't think was possible.
When I think of dyslexia, I think of my family. I think of the people who are attached to the term. I could see my dad's face. I could see my brother. I could see my son. And so to me, dyslexia is very personal. It's very human. To me, dyslexia is a pair of bright eyes, and it's a beating heart, and it's a bottom lip that still quivers after all these years when I'm asked to read out loud. So that's what dyslexia is. It's personal. How could it not be?